Hey guys, today is June 4th. It's the end of June 4th. And I will actually be posting this probably in a day, maybe 2 days. This is the Heroes of the Storm PTR patch notes, and these patch notes will be live as soon as June 11th, as late as possibly June 18th. It's going to be a pretty interesting patch. We have a lot of changes that are happening, so I want to go through and cover these, and I'm only going to skip by the things that I cover in other videos. So to start out, we have an event called Echoes of Alterac. Echoes of Alterac is an event that you pick either Alliance or Horde, and based off of what you pick, bases off what you get. For example, if you were to pick Alliance, you are going to get Alliance is the dwarf. You are going to get a Ram portrait, a Alliance banner, and a Ram mount. If you were to pick Horde, you're going to get a Wolf portrait, a Horde banner, and a Wolf mount. You can buy the upgraded versions of either of the mounts with shards, so don't worry if you miss out on one of these other small mounts. Then there's going to be a variety of little quests that you do. These things will get you the different rewards that you're going with, and playing with friends gives bonus experience this entire time, so it's a great event to bring your friends back into the game. The interesting thing about the loot chests that you get during this event is they are Warcraft reinforcement loot chests, meaning that they have an increased chance of dropping heroes, in particularly Warcraft heroes. This increased chance is high enough to where, from what our understanding is, it's going to be about 100% chance of getting a Warcraft hero every time. But you can get repeats. Just a warning. So if you already own Garrosh, you could open all 4 of these and get 4 Garroshes and get nothing. But odds are, if you're a new player entering the game, you're going to be getting a decent amount of heroes. Then on to Alterac Pass. Now, I've done a video on Alterac Pass, so you can go through and watch that to see essentially how that map works, as well as a few other videos that I do, like the URL gameplay that's going to be coming out tomorrow, that's going to answer some questions about the map as well. Then I'm not going to cover URL because I've already covered her in 2 videos. The art, there's a little bit of art change, a little bit of UI change, a little bit of design change. No worries on any of those. Here's one thing that's kind of interesting. Structures are getting lower experience for the fort, towers, but higher experience for the forts and the keeps. The reasoning for this is to prevent the first objective from snowballing the experience. For example, if you win on Tomb of the Spider Queen, you usually get all the front walls but no forts. Well, that may give you a large enough experience lead to where the enemies just can't keep up with you. So now they're making it to where the fort towers don't give as much experience. So if you're really winning, you're going to get the forts and you're going to get the most experience. But if you're only getting one objective, they don't want you to be able to snowball the rest of the game. I think it's a really strong change. I agree with it. Now on to the heroes. Cassia is getting an increase of health, a decrease in health regen, and a decrease in armor from her trait. Overall, I believe this is going to be mostly a nerf to Cassia, but it's small things, so I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Phoenix is getting a size decrease on his hitbox, meaning he's going to go from what he is right now down to a Stitches or a Ragnaros. Genji's getting a pretty simple change. He's getting a increase to his cooldown of his trait Jump, but then the talent level 1, which normally reduces the cooldown of your trait, it's going to reduce it even further. So your trait, if you pick the talent at level 1, your trait's going to be the same. But if you don't pick it, it's going to be even longer. Making it to where the current picks that you go is the E, where you get the movement speed from your E, you're likely going to have a higher chance of picking your... it's just going to make level 1 a more competitive talent tier. Kael'thas is getting a hitbox decrease, as well as he is also increasing the damage of his W, the periodic damage anyways. Maiev is getting a few changes. Her E is getting a longer cooldown unless you hit another hero, and then it's going to be reduced by 4 seconds. It's getting more damage to minions, but less damage to heroes. And her W is getting an increased cooldown, and her Q is getting a lower radius. This is going to make it harder for her to stack her Q, but do a little bit more wave clear with her E. Lunara is getting Nature's Culling nerfed just a tad. It was very strong, downing minions, mercs, even towers, structures, and a lot of other things. And it is lowering the bonus damage from 150% down to 125%. Then Choking Pollen is a talent that she has at level 7 that is getting a large buff. I don't know if it's going to make it Q build viable, but it certainly does look pretty interesting with this buff. Varian is getting a large health and a large health regen increase while removing his armor and giving him a extra health increase on his taunt build. I think this is needed for Varian. After they made his changes, he got really squishy in his damage builds, and in his tanking build, he wasn't really as tanky as he could be. The removal of the armor and the increase of the health will make him a little bit tankier for most people, but we'll see how it goes. A little bit harder to heal, a little bit tankier. They're removing armor from a lot of people, though. Zagara is getting a lot of changes. The base idea of her changes is that her creatures are going to be easier to kill, but she's going to have a better end game. What that means is you can see her Hunter Killer is being reduced from 471 health to 420. However, its health scaling and its damage scaling has been increased. This is going to give her a weaker early lane against people who have a lot of wave clear, yet a stronger late game, which is what she really needed. Zagara had a very, very strong lane bully presence, but then her late game kind of fell off. So usually you would win the objectives by picking Zagara and being a lane bully, but then after the objectives, she just became a little bit weaker. I really like these changes for Zagara. I think these are going to be really, really good. She also gets a few talent changes. Her Corpse Feeders damage reduction for non-heroes has been increased from 40 to 50%. She gets a change on 2 of her level 16 talents. Brood Expansion, which is a W talent, cooldown reduction is increased. And Corrosive Saliva W, again, it increases the amount of damage. They're just trying to get people to pick something other than Mutalisk. Oriel's getting a little bit of a nerf, a little bit of a, I guess, buff, tiny bit, but essentially what's happening with Ariel is her health is being reduced, her health regen is being reduced. Her Q now deals a lot less damage on the outer area and a decent amount more damage. I mean, it's a small drop in outer and a small increase on inner. This is going to make it to where if you're someone who's good at landing your Q where you need it to go, it's going to be a little bit of a buff. But if you're someone that gets a lot of extra energy on accident, it's going to be a little bit of a nerf. Brightwing's just getting two easy buffs. Small buff to the trait, small buff to Blink Heal. Stukov's getting a small buff to his trait and a small buff to his Q heal. Anubarak is getting the base spell armor removed. His health is being increased. His health regen is being increased. And his W is having the mana cost reduced from 30 to 25. And it grants 40 spell armor while active. This makes it to where when you pop your W, you're going to be a lot tankier than you were before. But without your W, you're going to be less tanky than you were before. Arthas is losing his physical armor, but he's gaining a pretty decent chunk in health as well as health regen, having one of the highest health regens in the game now. Rhyme, his physical armor passive has been changed now and goes up to 75. So if you got Rhyme, your tankiness is going to be about as what it was before with Rhyme. Diablo's getting a lot of changes. He's getting a health increase, a health regen increase, a basic attack speed increase. He's getting healing increase on his W. He's getting healing per second increase on his level 1 talent, as well as regen glow bonuses have been increased on his level 1 talents. His cooldown reduction has been increased on his level 1 talents. Level 4, he gets more armor from his Q. He gets the armor granted after gaining 100 souls is increased from 30 to 40. And his W build, the healing has been increased even more. Level 13, what they've done is they've dropped the initial damage bonus on his Q from 100 to 80. The quest damage bonus has been increased from 15 to 20, as well as it increased the maximum quest damage bonus from 75 to 120. What this essentially does is makes his Q build to where it's a little bit weaker while you're questing, but when you finish the quest, you're going to be doing way more damage than what you were doing before. So, I think overall, I don't know if it's going to make Q build back in the meta, but it certainly is going to make W build better as well as auto attack build better, while giving Q build an opportunity to hit back into the meta. They also are fixing the lightning breath bug, which is not mentioned here, but it's mentioned further down. Garrosh is getting 2 nerfs, pretty much just cooldown things, as well as he is getting a change to his level 16 talent. Small buff, but these are nerfs here. Joanna is getting a large health regen buff. I believe she's going to be the 3rd highest health regen in the game. And then she's getting increase of health by a good chunk to compensate for the fact that she's losing her physical armor. Her Reinforce at level 1 is just getting a buff to compensate for the fact that she's losing her physical armor. Collections, they're adding a variety of skins. Just to show you the skins that are being added, let me scroll up. There is 4 Alliance skins and 4 Horde skins. Both of these can be taken no matter which quest you got. Ariel's getting a Spirit Healer skin. Murden's getting a Vandar skin. Varian's getting a Grand Marshal or Stormwind skin. And Valera's getting a Night Slayer skin. Then down here for the Horde, we have Junkrat, who's getting a Sapper skin. Rhaegar, who's getting a Drekthar skin, Garrosh, who's getting a High Warlord skin, as well as Joanna, who's getting a Warsong skin. I actually really like this skin for Joanna. It's very different from a lot of the other skins she has, so I really like that. And you can see there's a couple different skins that were, or variations of skins that were added, like Ironforge Falstad, Midnight Buccaneer Falstad, just different color schemes, Seafarer Greymane, Gladiator Rhaegar, Copper Varian, Prince Varian, just other slight variations of skins. There's a lot of bug fixes that have been changed and removed, which is very, very good for us because there was quite a few bugs that were going out. And that is the patch notes for all of the heroes, which these patch notes will probably go live on June 11th. If you have any questions or anything else you'd like to add, feel free to toss in the comments below. I will be putting this link in the video description if you'd like to read these yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and of course I get a notification at the end of it.